It's an opportunity for you to retreat from your lives for just a few days and to remove the constant stimulation in your external environment that reminds you of who you think you are as a personality. To separate yourself from the people you know and the places you go and the things that you do at the exact same time every single day, long enough for you to be reminded of what you already know. And I want you to know that every time you learn something new, you make new connections in your brain. That's what learning is. Learning is forging new synaptic connections. And the Nobel Prize laureate Kandel, in the year 2000, found that when people learn just one bit of information, they doubled the number of connections in their brain from 1,300 connections to 2,600 connections. But if they didn't review that information, if they didn't repeat it, if they didn't think about it, those circuits pruned apart within hours or days. All of this information that you were learning this weekend, if knowledge is power, then knowledge about yourself is self-empowerment. But all of this philosophical, theoretical, spiritual, intellectual knowledge and information is for you to do something with when you return back into your lives. And if you can take that information and apply it, personalize it, demonstrate it in some way, initiate that knowledge into action. If you get your behaviors to match your intentions, if you get your actions equal to your thoughts, if you get your mind and body working together, you are going to have a new experience. Now, when you're in the midst of an experience, all of your five senses plug you into the external environment. And as you're gathering all of this vital sensory data, all that information rushes back to your brain through 5 different sensory pathways. And it causes jungles of neurons to organize themselves into networks and patterns. The moment those neurons string into place, the brain makes a chemical, and that chemical is called a feeling or an emotion. And the moment you feel like a leader, the moment you feel like a patient parent, the moment you feel compassion, now you are teaching your body chemically to understand what your mind has intellectually understood. And in that moment, you are beginning to embody the truth of that philosophy. And if knowledge is for the mind, experience is for the body, you are embodying that information and signaling new genes in new ways, and you are rewriting your own biological program. But if you've done it once, it must mean you should be able to do it again. And if you can repeat an experience over and over again, at will, on command, you are going to neurochemically condition your mind and body to work as one. And when the mind and body merge as one, or the body now knows how to do it as well as the mind, now it's innate in you. It's automatic. It's second nature. It's easy. You've practiced it so many times that you don't even know how you do it. It's an automatic subconscious program. So our job on this journey is to go from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it in your head, practicing it with your hands, and knowing it by heart. And you and I have all the biological and neurological machinery to do this. And this is a time in history where it's not enough to know. This is a time in history to know how. And science has become the contemporary language of mysticism. In fact, science demystifies the mystical. And if you can combine a little quantum physics with a little neuroscience, with a little neuroendocrinology, with a little psychoneuroimmunology, a little epigenetics, You know, they all point the finger at possibility. And people are beginning to not wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis or loss to get about the business of change in their life. Because you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, which has been the old model of reality up until this point, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Which would you like to do at this point? So then, I'm curious, how many people in this audience believe in the idea that the way you think has some effect on your body or your life? I'm just curious. You do, yes? Well, how many people actually woke up this morning and consciously created a future? You know why you don't do it? Because you don't believe it's true. If you knew that your thoughts created your reality, would you ever miss a day in creating the life that you want? And would you ever let any thought slip by your awareness that you didn't want to experience? Now, you told me that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, yes? Poke the person next to you, please. So you think, this is science now, 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. Hint, because the same thoughts will always lead to the same choices. And the same choices will lead to the same behaviors. And the same behaviors will create the same experiences. And the same experiences produce the same emotions. And those same emotions drive your very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your hormones, and even your genetic expression are equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So then if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, you would have to change your personality, wouldn't you? Hello? Yes. Poke the person next to you again. Which means then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You'd have to become aware of your unconscious habits and behaviors and modify them. And then you'd have to look at those emotions that keep you anchored to the past and decide, do these emotions belong in my future? You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You're literally going to have to become someone else. And so, you can't run up to me and say, how come I'm not living in Santa Fe, New Mexico with my 3 dogs? Because I'll tell you, the personality who's living in Santa Fe, New Mexico looks nothing like that. So there's a principle in neuroscience that says that nerve cells that fire together. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, demonstrating the same behaviors, creating the same experiences that stamp the same networks of neurons into the exact same patterns, all for the familiar feeling you call you, and you keep doing that over and over again, you are going to begin to hardwire your brain into a very finite signature. The most commonly fired, neurologically wired set of thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that's acquired through frequent repetition. You've done it so many times that you begin to think within the box of your brain. So then, would you agree with me then? that new thoughts should lead to new choices, and new choices should lead to new behaviors. Come on. And new behaviors should create new experiences. And new experiences should create new feelings and new emotions. And those new feelings and new emotions should inspire new thoughts, and that's called evolution. Yes? So then, you told me that you said that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny. So if you wake up in the morning, now reason this with me, feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences. And you can remember experiences better because you can remember how they feel. So if you wake up in the morning and then you come back to your senses and then you glance over at the person laying next to you and you say, "Who is that?" Then you say, wait. Let me just remember all my problems. Oh, whoa, now I feel like myself. Almost lost my mind there. Would you agree then? The moment you feel the familiar feeling called you, and those emotions drive your thoughts, you are thinking in the past. Because if you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, then you are thinking in the past. And your body, as the unconscious mind, does not know the difference in your life between an actual experience that creates an emotion and an emotion that you create by thought alone. To the body, it's exactly the same. So people then, the moment they feel that familiar emotion and that emotion starts to activate circuits in their brain equal to that emotional state, they are now thinking and feeling in the past. And how you think and how you feel creates a state of being. Because thoughts are the vocabulary of the mind, and feelings are the vocabulary of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. And the redundancy of thinking the same thoughts that turn on the same circuits in your brain to produce the same level of mind begins to signal another part of your brain to make a chemical for you to begin to feel exactly the way you were just thinking. And the moment you feel that feeling, the brain is monitoring the body, and it begins to generate more thoughts equal to that feeling, which creates more chemicals for you to feel the same way, and then think the same way, and feel the same way, and think the same way. And the redundancy of that cycle conditions the body to subconsciously become the mind of that emotion. And the moment that occurs, the body literally is in the past. And it's believing it's in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. The body literally is in the past.